Hi family, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am OYOKO, but you can call me V, and in today's video I'll be sharing 5 art house films that really struck me, that really moved me, and I will try to the best of my ability not to share any spoilers, and I will keep it concise because I tend to ramble. So I will try my best, keep it short and snappy, and let's just start. Hope that you've subscribed already. So if you haven't, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the notification bell, and yeah, the first one is The Burial of Kojo. Okay, so The Burial of Kojo is a Afro-surrealist story told from the perspective of a young girl named Essie. So Essie revisits her childhood and explains the rivalry between her father, Kojo, and her uncle, Kwabena, and goes on this magical quest to rescue her father after he suddenly goes missing. This film is exceptional. The cinematography is absolutely stunning. Don't deny yourself of the versatility of this man. It's African versatility, it's the immaculate storytelling, it's the screenwriting, it's the cast that excelled in delivering this story. It touches on the social and political struggles that Ghanaians face in these rural areas and what they must do to survive, and how resentment can grow into this thing that is just out of control and drives families apart. This is African cinema told differently. It's dreamlike, it's spiritual, it's surrealistic. Everything about it is just poetry. It's a sad story as well. Let's go to the next one. The next one is I Am Not a Witch by Welsh and Zambian director and screenwriter Rungano Nyoni. I hope I pronounced that right. I Am Not a Witch is a story about a young girl that is being accused of being a witch after a common accident and has been taken to a witch camp to join an elderly group of witches, where she is being forced to make this decision, a life-changing decision, which is, or you choose to continue your life as a witch and you will have this white ribbon attached to your back to prevent you of flying away or to escape altogether, or you cut this white ribbon loose and you will be cursed and transformed into a goat, but then you will have your liberties again. It's a sad story and it's really intense. It's really intense, and but it's such a beautiful film, and the execution of that film, phenomenal. The cinematography, excellent. The screenwriting, exceptional. Everything is just extraordinary. It's beautiful, and she did a great job of capturing what is happening in these witch camps. Obviously this is her take, so she mixed reality with fiction and created this story, and obviously there's some of her own projections onto the government officials that you see in the film as well. So I really enjoyed listening to her and what her incentive was to create and capture this. It's eye-opening. It's definitely eye-opening. Other things that I wrote down was that you can see the systems of oppression and exploitation within this film. You see the mysticism, it's satire as well. I forgot to say, it's satire. So there are parts of it that's quite dark humor. So if you're into dark humor, then yeah, definitely go watch it. There's this element of gender politics. There's social political satire. I was deeply moved by this film, and I would definitely recommend anyone to go and watch it. At the time, it's been a while since I've seen the entire film, and I will watch it again soon, but even watching the trailer made me teary-eyed. And I know how it ends, but I was watching the trailer I'm like, my God, I'm too emotionally unstable to be watching this again because it's heavy. It's heavy. But yeah, it really portrays all these different elements that we still see in today's society. People giving up their liberty because they feel like there is no other choice, being forced into servitude and being ostracized, because of these labels that they carry that others have put onto them, you know, and now because there's no other way of, survival, they have now embraced it in a way because now they participate in the systems, in the oppression that really holds them in the same place. Yeah, it's like psychological imprisonment but also physical imprisonment, and I would recommend anyone to go and watch it. So the next one is Listen, directed by Finnish and Iranian director and screenwriter Hamy Ramezan and co-directed by Rungano Nyoni. Trigger warning, this film is about domestic violence. So we have a woman who is seeking help at a police station in Copenhagen. All of this is taking place in Denmark. She is seeking help and she's there with her son because she is in a very abusive relationship with her husband. Problem is that there is a language barrier. She needs a translator to help her explain the situation to the two police officers. What I find very interesting about this short film is that there is 3 different narratives being shown. You have the perception or the experience of the woman that is being abused. Then you have the translator that is there to try and help her, but it seems like she has a different agenda when it comes to helping this woman explain the situation to the 2 police officers. And then you have the 2 police officers trying to make sense of it all based on what the translator is saying and based on the body language of the woman that is there to do her story. What I can say, it's hefty. It's really heavy. I really liked the film. I liked how it was filmed, and I do think that these situations happen. And it's interesting to see it now on screen how it works, because essentially if one thing is misconstrued, the entire situation has a different ending. So yeah, the entire situation has a different ending. So I think having a film like this is so important. It's so powerful to see something like this. And especially when you have a woman that's not well versed in a different language, in a particular language, it makes it difficult because there is a barrier already. Then the second barrier is that there is a translator that misconstruing whatever's happening because of other reasons. I say go and watch it because it's 10 minutes long. It's quite short, but it's so intense, and I would recommend everyone to go and watch it because it's just it's the story, the filmmaking, the actors, everything. It's beautiful. It's beautiful and tragic. So the next one is Tales of Earthsea, and I personally really enjoyed it. I was quite confused at times, but it was supposed to be an adaptation of Ursula K. Le Guin's Earthsea Cycle series. It was a bit confusing because when I was doing my research, lots of people were very displeased with the outcome, and apparently Ursula herself was also, quite disappointed about how she did not recognize any of the characters. They simply had the same names, but there was no resemblance of her work, so it wasn't really an adaptation. But yeah, lots of drama surrounding this film. So Tales of Earthsea is a Japanese anime film that was produced and released by Studio Ghibli in 2006 and was supposed to be an adaptation of the Earthsea trilogy, which is a series of fantasy books written by Ursula Gruber Le Guin. So the film starts off with dragons fighting, and you have a black dragon and a white dragon. The white dragon gets killed eventually, and there is suddenly this huge imbalance in the land of Earthsea, which will lead to destruction and chaos for humanity. As someone that's not as familiar with the works of these people, of these artists, I obviously have a different perspective on it, but I enjoyed it. Okay, next one is actually, I just realized, or just came to the realization that all the films that I'm recommending are pretty depressing. They're not fun, they're not joyous, they're not, they don't give you this like nice and fuzzy feeling like, oh, was life wonderful, was life a beautiful experience. They're pretty like freaking dark, gloomy, plot twists, and films, and very touch on very heavy subjects. I'm like, oh. I'm filming this now, I'm like, oh, this is pretty dark. Wow, what does that say about me? Well, let's just not get into that for today. Okay, the next one is La Casa Lobo. So La Casa Lobo in in English is the Wolfhouse. So the Wolfhouse. I'm sorry, I keep laughing. It's not nice. Like, it's all of it is super dark. But okay, and it's getting darker and darker. It's getting more grim. Okay. So the next one is La Casa Lobo, the Wolf House, translated from Spanish to English. So it's an animated stop motion fairy tale directed by Joaquín Cociña and Cristóbal León. It follows Maria, who has fled a German colony in southern Chile to find refuge in the woods, in a house, in an abandoned house, where she's welcomed by two pigs. And it's a stop motion animated film that is a fairy tale that turns into a complete nightmare. Complete nightmare. Entirely terrible. It's freaking grim. It's dark. It's horror. It's dark. I was really confused, disoriented, and terrified when I was watching this film. I was on edge. Like, I was really scared. I was really scared, and I felt really uneasy. And there are very disturbing scenes in this film. So if you are sensitive, babe, don't watch it. Don't watch it, please, because I don't know if I'm gonna rewatch it. I want to, but I need to prepare myself emotionally to get myself into this film again. Shall I put it like that? Yeah, I need to watch. I need to prepare myself mentally, emotionally, if I want to watch this again, because it was really heavy. It was pretty grim. So it's a trigger warning for you. This is a trigger warning. But so it's based on true events. It's based on Colonia Dignidad, which was a German colony in Chile in the 1960s up until, I think, the mid 80s, I believe. Definitely 1960s, 1970s. All of this happened due to a German fugitive, and who I will not name, but he was in charge, and basically Colonia Dignidad was a concentration camp, a torture camp for captives. And yeah, it's I was reading the story, doing some research, and yeah, I was horrified to learn that history, and you wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So I understand where that strong, aggressive, dark undertone, why that is present. But I would still recommend watching it because it was an art project, and they managed to derive from true events and create that story. And I still believe that stories are there to be told, even if they are very disturbing, very painful to hear, to watch. I do believe that it's part of our human history, and it needs to come out, it needs to be seen and heard. There was also lots of symbolism in there. Obviously I did not pick up all of it because I wasn't too familiar with the history, with the true events. So not everything came to mind when I was watching it. Just a few bits. I'm like, okay, this is interesting, because I know this is referring to that part of history and that part of history, but not necessarily. I didn't see all of the symbolism at once. So maybe that's why I would like to watch it again. But yeah, the entire movie was disturbing. It was disturbing. The execution of the piece was very powerful, very aggressive, but also brilliant, because it is the way it was made, the way they made the film is incredible. It's an art project that has very impressive visuals, because it took them 4 to 5 years to create this film. As I mentioned, it's an art project, and they made this project in different countries, different spaces, studios, museums, where people could come and witness what was happening, and they used the space to create the entire film. So everything was handmade. It took them 4 to 5 years to actually fully finalize the entire project, the film. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's a fairy tale that turns into a complete disaster, complete nightmare, complete nightmare. If you're sensitive, don't watch it. That's my tip. If you're sensitive, don't watch this film. It's hella triggering. Hella triggering. So yeah, good luck with watching this. So last but not least, Birds of Passage, which is a film based on true events. It's based on the true origins of the Colombian drug trade in the 1970s, also known as the La Bonanza Marimbera, and it was directed by Ciro, who is a film director and screenwriter, and very well known for his film Embrace the Serpent. I haven't seen it yet, I will. And was co-directed by Cristina Gallego, I hope I pronounced that right. The film is centered around the indigenous Wayuu people, especially focused on a Wayuu man who finds himself, in this new business, this new trade, drug trade, supplying marijuana to Americans. So these Americans that come to northern Colombia to get these substances, and he saw the business in that, eventually dragging his entire family into this business, and a war breaks loose between these families because of this trade. And it's very violent, let me say that. You see parts that imply the violence that have been inflicted upon people. Also, you see very raw images of people like not fully intact. Not fully intact. It's heavy. It's really yeah. It was difficult to watch sometimes. Some parts were very difficult to watch, and you see the rise of a man that has grown wealth exponentially, essentially feeding his greed, his passion, and drags his family, his indigenous family along, putting not only his culture and ancestry at stake, but also traditions and how many lives are being sacrificed almost in order to maintain this new thing, this new business that has started. But yeah, there is elements of spirituality there. And yeah, in this film, it really follows. Cinematography is stunning again. Okay, so this was the video. As you can see, it's pretty dark, so I need to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying till the end. Don't forget to subscribe or like, and let me know in the comments if any of these films are of interest. Let me know if you want to recommend anything, and yeah, that's it. So I hope you are well, I hope you stay well, I hope you go well, and I will see you in the next video. Blessings.